Hi everyone, welcome to the first Astro Flow. My name is Michael. I'm a yoga instructor here in New York City, and I'm really excited to bring this special series to you. Astro Flow is the combination of astrology and yoga to create a soothing practice. It's meant to help us navigate the shifting currents from whatever's happening, whether it be a planetary retrograde or a full or new moon. And beforehand, we'll always talk about it. And then we'll get into a full yoga sequence. Most of the time, I try to keep it all level. And I definitely offer modifications. So the first Astro Flow is coming to you during the full moon in Taurus. So this is happening on October 24th, 2018. It's a full moon in Taurus while the sun has just moved into Scorpio. All right, let's break it all down because a lot's been happening, and really honestly, it takes quite a lot of cosmic chaos to get me to sit down and record a YouTube video. At the beginning of October, we had Venus go retrograde on October 5th. When you hear the word retrograde, people tend to get a little up in arms. It's become a really negative buzzword, which is kind of a shame because retrogrades are really powerfully profound times for inner work. This is when we can really get some rich soil out from underneath us. So what does it mean when a planet goes retrograde? So when a planet goes retrograde, it means that when you're looking at it in the night sky, if it were to retrograde, it would look like it's moving backwards. So Venus retrograde is encouraging us to look at our values. It's encouraging us to look at what we place value in and what we would like to place value in. So by going retrograde, what Venus is offering us is a time for us to loosen up the knots that have muddled themselves up in our lives and our paths. We tend to want to just pull at these knots, and it just pulls them tighter sometimes, most of the time, and that's why we are anxious, manic people. So we also have Saturn hanging out, setting the tone in the sky, looking at this retrograde with such kind, loving eyes. Saturn is in Capricorn, which is its home sign. Basically, the tone set here is that if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do that hard inner work, this is the time to do it, but you have to be diligent and you have to be disciplined. So when you're going through this Venus retrograde, you have to be willing to look inward and look past your own knee-jerk responses, your own ego responses, and accept yourself where you are. That is the key to really beginning to navigate this retrograde with grace and ease. So, which is all we're trying to do, right? So as the knots are starting to loosen and we're starting to see it, a couple things are gonna happen. One, the good, the bad, the ugly is all gonna come out, and we're really gonna have to look at ourselves with that non-judgmental eye. And again, meet ourselves where we are. The other thing is that as we see the knots start to loosen, we're gonna wanna take action. We're gonna wanna pull on the strings. And the thing is we're not done receiving clarity. The Venus retrograde doesn't wrap up until mid-November. So to take action now would be very hasty. Taking action can maybe start around the end of October. October 31st is when Venus moves from Scorpio, that deep inner journey, looking at the dark side of things, being willing to look at the wound to help clean it, energy, and moving into Libra, which is really starting to weigh the odds out here and really look at things with that analytical eye, and not to be overly judgmental, but to really survey the truth in things. And what's beautiful is that the Taurus full moon is coming at a time to remind us of our strength. Taurus is powerful, grounding earth energy. It's represented by that strong, stubborn bull. It's about those foundations that do not budge, that are so strong and weighed so powerfully during this process that what you lay down, man, if you lay this down with intention and you're willing to do the work and you're willing to get into it, this is the groundwork that will change your life. And we are at a period of time where things are elevating and things are shifting, and this is how you manifest what you want now. The time to take action will come later. We will talk about that at the next Astro Flow, which will come to you for the November 7th new moon in Scorpio. The last piece is that for our yoga flow today, we will be bringing in some more of that Taurus energy with our Mudra, which is going to be Apana Mudra. So you'll take your middle finger and ring finger and place it to your thumb. You'll have your little bowl and your little horns. So the Apana Mudra is said to aid in digestion. So the energy that we really want to bring in here is absorption. The energy here is being willing to take in all of the lessons being offered to us and being willing to sit with them patiently and allow them to unfold within us, as us, for us, because that's the whole point or something like that. Take it at your own pace. You can always press pause. This is meant to be an all-level flow. The important thing is to breathe and enjoy yourself. It's meant to feel good. So you can have a block. I would recommend having a folded blanket for any padding, especially if your knees are tender. If you don't have a block, use a book. And if you don't have a blanket, use a towel. Let's have fun. Namaste. All right, friends, as we come onto our mat today, we'll begin in Child's Pose. So as you come onto your knees are wide, big toes are touching. The use of a folded blanket underneath the knees or behind the knees may help with any sensitivity. And as you settle in, allow yourself to exhale and release the hips down towards the heels. The heart bows through between the thighs, and you allow yourself to get heavy towards the earth. Softening in the hips, releasing behind the heart, behind the neck and ears, softening the shoulders and wrists. Allow your breathing to fill into the low belly and expand the low back. With each exhale, you spread wider in all directions along your mat. With an inhale, you'll reach long out of the spine and walk the hands over to the right. Your left hand can grab a hold of your right wrist, and as you exhale, your left hip gets heavy towards the mat. As you inhale, you expand the space between the ribs on the left side, using the breath to expand that heart space. Noticing any tension that creeps into the jaw or the sides of the neck, and allow that all to release into the mat out of the top of the head, pouring like a spout. With your next inhale, you'll reach long out of the spine and begin to walk the hands back towards center. As you exhale, take a moment to pause here, letting the hips relax. With an inhale, you'll reach long and walk over to the left side, off the left side edge of the mat. Right hand can grab a hold of left wrist, and as the left hand reaches longer, you get a bigger opening out of the right side, letting the right hip get heavy. Again, using that breath to expand the space between each rib. Noticing as the breath expands, you walk the hands back to center, and we'll come on up to fingertips in the hands, reaching long out of the wrists, like little teepees. Driving the fingertips into the earth, allow the shoulder blades to widen and drip down either side of the torso, down towards the mat. Release long in the spine and neck. As you exhale, soak the palms back into the earth and flip the palms to face the ceiling, reaching long out of the middle fingers, ring fingers, and pinky fingers especially. Notice how this opens out the shoulder from the inside. As you exhale, you allow the palms to soak back into the mat. As you inhale, lift the hips and tuck the toes under. We'll come to sit on the heels nice and tall. If this is especially fiery, you can take the toes untucked. However, we're looking to stretch the feet here. You'll roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and interlace the hands in front of the heart. As you widen in the elbows, begin to pull the hands apart from each other. And as you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine and send the heart towards the back of the body. Think of sending it towards the back of the room between the shoulder blades. Lengthen out of the top of the head and allow the hands to release down towards the lap, shoulders away from the ears. As you inhale, reach the hands wide and out behind you, interlacing the palms behind you. Palms soak together, and you send the knuckles back and down, rolling the heart open, squeezing out the front of the heart like a sponge. We'll take that again. Releasing the hands as you inhale, they'll interlace in front of you this time again. Widen in the elbows, send the heart back, lengthening in the spine.
Inhale, the hands release, and they widen, growing behind you. Interlace the hands behind the back, palms reach together, sending the knuckles down and back, lengthening out of the back of the neck. As you release the hands, you'll untuck the toes. Take a moment in child's pose, just to notice how much more expanded your breath is. On your next inhale, you'll lift the hips and come to hands and knees, bringing the knees directly underneath the hips and the hands directly underneath the shoulders. You'll lengthen out of the spine in both directions and zip up the core, and as you inhale, the belly button will sink low, tailbone and crown curve to the sky. Exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine and reverse this curve, sending the tailbone down, crown down to match. Continuing on your own breath cycle, the inhale sinks you low, and the exhale closes out the core and sends the earth away from you. Continue to lengthen out of the spine in both directions, enjoying how, as you lengthen, the curve deepens. Begin to bring in side motions, jump rope-like motions in the spine, breathing and deepening into those tight spaces, hunting and clearing with your breath for anywhere that could use to open more. Releasing in the jaw and behind the neck and ears, begin to get playful with it, bending in the knees and elbows and shifting the weight around a bit. Notice where the body draws you. This is an exercise in listening. When you feel satisfied, begin to find stillness in the spine, lengthening in your core, reaching the tailbone and the crown in either direction, flat in the back. You'll inhale, tuck the toes under, and hover the knees 1 inch off the earth, belly button hugs towards the spine. As you're exerting and using your core, make a clear space for the breath, reserved along the central channel of the body. See a clear inhale towards the pelvis, all the way back out the nose. When you've had enough, you'll inhale and step the feet back to plank, lengthening out of the heels, zip up the quads and squeeze the glutes. Long in the spine as you inhale, and as you exhale, send the hips up and back towards down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, pressing the earth away, allowing the shoulders to melt away from the ears, little bend in the knees if needed to let the low back release, and allow the heels to drip towards the earth. You can invite in some good treading if needed. You can bring a bend in the knees, and as you exhale, you can ease the hamstrings open. Imagining you have little lungs inside your hamstrings, breathe all the way into this space and encourage the muscles to lengthen and let go. As you tread out, you can sit into either hip, lengthening and releasing. Allowing the inner thighs to spin towards the back of your mat, widening out of the outside of the legs and hamstrings. You can reintroduce that treading back in. Begin to walk the feet in towards the hands slowly, softening in the knees, taking step by step, pedaling out, and letting the feet eventually take all of the weight. And you hang over in a forward fold at the top of your mat, bowing and releasing out of the torso, releasing in the back of the neck. You can cross in the arms and sway side to side. And as you let that quiet out, you release the arms. Shake no in the head and releasing the neck, nodding yes. As you soften in the knees, you curl under in the pelvis and slowly let yourself roll up, feeling the spine stack on top of itself. When you reach the top, you inhale, roll the shoulders up by the ears. Exhale, let them settle down the spine. We begin our Sun Salutation series, coming to the top of our mat, hands come together in prayer. Inhale, sending up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward, getting that forward fold in. As you inhale, find a halfway lift flat in the back. Hands can come to shins or ankles. Exhale, belly button to spine, release out of the neck over. Inhale, halfway lift once more. Tailbone reaches back, crown matching. Finding that clothesline feeling. Exhale, draping over. One last inhale, growing out of the spine, out of the hips with the rib cage. Exhale, release over, plant the hands, and step the feet back to a plank. Inhale, reach long in your plank. And as you exhale, you'll lower, keeping the elbows pinned in all the way down onto the mat. Releasing down, you untuck the toes and bring the elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel for Sphinx. Just like a cat, you'll think of pressing your hands into the earth, dragging your heart forward, releasing and lengthening out of the waist down through the backs of the legs and feet. Grow the heart forward, releasing the throat and out of the third eye, lengthening out of the neck. The shoulders wrap back and down. As you exhale, you lengthen longer out of the top of the head and release the elbows wide to lower down. Hands slide underneath the chest, tuck the toes under and lengthen out behind the knees. Zip up the core and exhale to press the earth away. You inhale, lengthen in your spine, and exhale, send the hips up and back to down dog. Taking a moment to adjust, we'll take full breaths here. Breathing in through the palms of the hands up into the hips. Exhale down the backs of the thighs and calves, releasing the heels down towards the earth. The name of the game is to keep space between ears and shoulders, so let them drip towards the hips. Full breaths releasing, enjoying the stillness, allowing the pose to open to you. When you've had enough, you'll inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands, and step your feet into forward fold between the hands. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, up and over, draping. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching long out of hands and tailbone and crown. Hands meet overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands come to heart center, Samastitihi. Feel the feet into the earth. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, swan dive forward. As you inhale, find the halfway lift, growing out of the tailbone, out of the crown. Heart off the thighs. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank. Lengthening out of the backs of the legs. Exhale, lower down, elbows pinned in. And come this time through just a cobra, untucking the toes, rolling the heart open, lifting the heart slightly, growing out of the top of the head to release this. As you exhale, lower down. And we'll find this one more time, wrapping the shoulder blades onto the back, grow out of the top of the head to rise. Again, weight in the feet. If the toes are lifting up, lengthen and ground. As you exhale, you lengthen out of the top of the head and release back down. Hands adjust, toes tuck under as you inhale. Lengthen in your plank and exhale, press to the top of a push-up. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, send the hips back to down dog. Taking that adjustment, releasing. Notice how already the pose is deeper for you. Pressing with the whole hand if the wrists become fatigued. Press through the balls of the hands. Inhale, soften in the knees. Exhale, jump, hop, or float. And forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out of the spine for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold over. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, hands reach high. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center, Samastiti, mountain pose. Inhale, hands reach overhead. And find your swan dive in. Let this feel luxurious. As you inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step the feet back to your plank. Inhale, this time we lower down, knees, chest, and chin. We'll roll over the tops of the feet, coming through for full upward dog. Pressing the hands, lifting the heart, hips rise off the earth, quads engaged. As you exhale, send the hips up and back, rolling over the tops of the feet. Let the heels drip, down dog. On your next inhale, you'll float the right heel up towards the sky for three-legged dog. The heel rises on the inhale. Foot flex, toes point straight down to keep the hips square. As you exhale, belly button draws to spine, knee comes towards the nose, and you plant the foot between the hands. You have the option to lower the back knee down and untuck the toe, and come on up for a modified lunge. Inhale, reaching nice and tall, and exhale, allowing the hips to deepen. Reaching the hip towards the face, you can send the hips towards the earth to open the front of the hip. Using your breath. However, if you'd like more, you can tuck the back toes under and lengthen out behind the back knee. Come to a full lunge. Drawing the right hip back, drive through the balls of the back foot. Then from there, reach long out of the heel, lengthening out behind the knee. As you exhale, you'll plant the hands around the foot. Send the foot back to a plank and take a chaturanga, lowering down knees, chest, chin, over the tops of the feet for upward dog, rinsing it all clean as you inhale. As you exhale, send the hips up and back for down dog. We'll continue to the left side. Inhale, float the left heel up, toes point straight down. As you exhale, belly button into the spine, knee comes forward to the nose. Plant the foot between the hands. Keep the back heel spiked. You have the option to lower down, untuck the toe, or keep the back toe tucked and lengthen out behind the back knee, coming up for high lunge. The left hip drawing back, right hip drawing forward. Belly button draws to spine and you lengthen out of the torso. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. On an exhale, the hands will come back down to the earth to frame the front foot, and you'll come to a plank. As you exhale, lower all the way down onto the mat. Untuck the toes. Reach the arms long out in front of you. Come for a little Shavasana prep. You may need to adjust where you are on the mat. We'll lengthen long out of our limbs to lift them. Reaching long out of the right hand and left foot, you'll lengthen long to lift up. Core draws in. The spine is lengthening. There's no crunching in the back. As you exhale, you'll lengthen to lower down. We'll inhale, lengthen and lift the left arm, right leg. Reaching long out of these limbs. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Jaw unclenched. As you exhale, you lengthen to lower. We'll take one more time each side, lifting out of right hand, left leg. Noticing the breath, lengthening to lower. Last time, left hand, right leg. As you exhale, you lengthen to lower. We'll take all four limbs off the earth, lengthening in all directions. Feel yourself expand out for miles and miles, out of hands and feet. Drawing the belly button in, this is Shavasana. Lengthen to lower. Taking a moment to breathe into the low back, letting things release, any tightness that's there, dissipating. We'll lengthen out of the spine to relieve that as we lengthen and lift this time, using the breath to move through this pose. As you lengthen to lower, you'll exhale. Bring the hands towards the chest. Send the hips back towards the heels, knees wide, toes touch, child's pose. Allowing the shoulders to melt away from the ears, making space. Feeling yourself a little warmer, a little more open. You'll inhale, lift the hips. Tuck the toes under and find your way to down dog. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands, step, hop, float. Find your forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift, reaching out of tailbone and crown. Exhale, belly button to spine, lengthen to lower, releasing. You'll inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, hands reach high. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. We'll come into our main flow, standing at the top of our mat, hands at heart center. Drive the feet into the earth and feel yourself standing strong. We'll begin with Utkatasana, chair pose. We'll step the feet together, big toes to touch, heels separated. Inhale, sit the hips back, bend in the knees and swing the arms behind you. Exhale, swing the arms up overhead. Squeeze in the glutes, seal the inner thighs together, and lengthen out of the waist with the ribs. Shoulders are away from the ears, jaws unclenched. As you exhale, you sink a little lower. Make sure you can still see your toes when you look down towards your knees. If not, send your butt a little further back behind you. As you exhale, lengthen and forward fold. Inhale and find a halfway lift. Exhale, release over and separate the feet to hip width apart. Plant the hands and step the left foot back for a lunge. Make sure to reach long out of the heel. And as you inhale, drive through the front foot to send your torso upright for the high lunge. Again, you do have the option to lower back onto that back knee. Draw the belly button in towards the spine and lengthen out of the torso. Squeeze in the glute and lengthen out behind the back knee. As you inhale, send the hands forward in front of you, and as you exhale, peel the right hand open and twist towards the front foot for a twisted lunge. Lengthen out of the spine in both directions, and as you exhale, draw the belly button in towards the spine. Reach long out of the hands in both directions, and take the gaze towards the back hand if it feels good. We'll bring in that Apana Mudra by bringing the thumbs, middle and ring fingers together, and bring the hands in for that strong feeling. As you drive the feet strong into the earth, feel how that supports the twist. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, cartwheel the hands to the earth. Release the right foot back to a plank, and chaturanga through to wash it clean, lowering down for knees, chest, chin. Inhale through upward dog. Exhale, send the hips up and back for down dog. We'll inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float, forward fold. Knees to touch right away. Inhale, swing it back for chair pose. Exhale, send the arms overhead. Squeeze the glutes and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening out of the spine. As you exhale, lengthen out of the torso, separate the feet, and step the right foot back for the lunge. Remembering you can lower to the knee, inhale, coming up for the high lunge. Driving strong through that front foot, notice how the feet are still hip-width apart on individual skis. Reaching long through the back heel, you inhale, bring the hands in front of you, shoulders dripping away from the ears. As you exhale, you'll peel the left hand open into the twist, lifting long in the spine, belly button draws in. Avoid the tendency to reach forward. Keep the shoulders on top of the hips. As I drive long and strong through my hips along my legs, I widen long along my hands to match that. Bringing in the Apana Mudra, I inhale and bring my hands strong like goalposts. Feeling the strength of this twist, you inhale, lengthen, and exhale, cartwheel the hands to the earth. Send the left foot back to meet the right. Exhale, chaturanga through, lowering knees, chest, chin. Inhale through upward dog. Exhale, send the hips up and back to down dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, step, hop, float, find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, belly button to spine, drape over. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching nice and long out of the hands. And exhale, bring the hands to heart centered, nice and tall and strong. Feeling your feet drive into the earth to lift long through the spine. We'll build off our sequence, continuing on. Bring the feet together, toes to touch, inch of space between the heels, zip up the inner thighs, and sit back for chair pose. As you exhale, swing the arms up overhead. Squeeze in the glutes and lengthen out of the waist, draw the belly button in. Make lots of space between hips and ribs. Still allow the shoulders to relax away from the ears, and as you exhale, find your forward fold, bowing through. Inhale for the halfway lift, and as you exhale, plant the hands and step the left foot back for the lunge, separating the feet to hip-width apart. Reach long out of the back heel and out of the back leg. Come on up on an inhale for your lunge. Again, remembering you can still lower down to that knee. Still finding your twist towards the front thigh. However, if you're in the high lunge, notice how much more strength it takes to maintain the twist in the torso. Reach long through that back heel and drive strong through the front foot. We'll inhale and sweep the hands up. Coming into Warrior One, we'll spin the back heel to a 45-degree angle, sealing the outside edge of the foot to the earth. The inner thigh then spins towards the back of the mat. It helps me send my right hip forward. I want to make sure that I'm still on my own individual skis, and I settle in for Warrior One. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears and bring the front of the body towards the back of the body. Bring in the Apana Mudra and inhale. As you exhale, cactus the arms and open the heart. The elbows are wide, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. The inhale reaches the arms long, and the exhale opens the heart. Begin to open out, feeling the sunshine on your face, getting the most out of this. Driving the back foot strong, sending it straight out of the front of the chest. As you exhale, rinse all of this out. And on your inhale, you'll bring the hands to frame the front foot. Bring the right foot to meet the left in a plank and chaturanga through, washing everything clean. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. You'll inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. And exhale, step, hop, float. Find the front of your mat for your forward fold, bowing in for a moment. Unclench the jaw, soften in the neck. Inhale for the halfway lift. Exhale, releasing up and over. Inhale, sit back for chair pose, finding the left side. Exhale, arms up overhead. Squeeze the glutes, lengthen the waist. Exhale, see if you can sit a little bit deeper. As you exhale, bow forward. Inhale, separate the feet and find your halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back for your lunge, reaching nice and long. Inhale, upright the torso. Let the shoulders drip away from the ears. Drive strong through the legs. Keep the back leg tightened. Inhale, hands in front, and exhale. Peel open towards the left side, finding the twist. Your inhale reaches long out of the spine in both directions. Exhale, belly button draws in to deepen. You inhale, find your Warrior One, spin the back heel down. You want to keep the hips square towards the front of your mat still. Left hip drawing back, right hip drawing forward. The inner thigh spins, and you feel your torso lengthen. Bringing in your Apana Mudra, exhale, goalpost arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, drawing the elbows down and wide. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, roll the heart open. Feel the sunshine on your face. See if you can lengthen longer out of the crown with this. Really feeling how that back foot connection drives through the front of the heart, stabilizing and strengthening the opening there. As you exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Left foot meets the right in plank, and you chaturanga through, rolling for upward dog as you inhale. Exhale, send the hips up and back for down dog. Let the heels drip towards the earth. Take a moment to stabilize, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Exhale, find your forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale for the halfway lift, get space in the back. Exhale, up and over for forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Drive the feet into the earth. Big inhale. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Adding on our final round. Toes come to touch, inch of space between the heels. Inhale for Utkatasana, chair pose, reaching long out of the waist, lengthen in the spine. Exhale, find this cactus arm here with the breath, same as in Warrior One. Drawing the elbows wide, feel how this opens the heart. As you inhale, widen for a flat back, and exhale, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, separate the feet. Left foot steps back for the lunge. Inhale, bring yourself upright. Find your high lunge as you exhale. Bring the hands in front and find your twist, peeling the right hand open. Returning to our Apana Mudra and strong goalpost arms, feel the energy. Drive your feet into the earth as you inhale, widen the hands, and exhale. Bring yourself into Warrior One, maintaining your Apana Mudra, bringing in the breath right away. Outside edge of the foot sealed to the earth, front foot driving. Spine is long, core drawn in. Feel the heart open. From here, you'll inhale, straighten out the front leg, spin the feet so the toes are facing towards the left side of your mat. Bring the heels in to turn out in the feet. As you exhale, send the tailbone straight down and descend into a wide squat. Make sure that the knees are tracking over the toes and not falling inward. This may require a little bit of adjusting in your stance, maybe wider, maybe narrower. Squeeze in the glutes and send the knees wide in both directions. As you draw the belly button in, lengthen out of the waist. Keep the arms wide with your Apana Mudra. As you interlace the hands in front of you, exhale and send the heart back behind you, same as we found on our knees in our warm-up. Opening the back of the heart, you let the hands drip, then you release the hands to the earth. Heels release to parallel, and the legs are long. You're in a wide-legged forward fold. Bowing in, feel the drape out of the torso, lengthen the spine. Inhale, you'll bend in the right knee and walk your hands around to a lunge at the front of your mat. As you exhale, send the right foot back to meet the left and chaturanga through, washing everything clean. First side down. Inhale, you'll soften in the knees, gaze towards hands. Exhale, step, hop, float, forward, fold. Inhale, find the halfway lift. Exhale, belly button in, get up and over, bow. Inhale, sit it back, sweep it back. Exhale, arms up overhead for Utkatasana. Exhale, Apana Mudra, cactus arms. Lengthen the waist, squeeze in the glutes. Exhale, using your breath to open the heart. As you inhale, you lengthen. As you exhale, you widen and find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, belly button to spine, draping over. Separate the feet, and you'll step the right foot back for your lunge. Inhale, lengthening to lift high up. Exhale, allowing your shoulders to reach away from you. Inhale, bring the hands in front. Exhale, peel your left hand open, twisting towards that front thigh. Long in the spine, Apana Mudra activated, goalpost arms. Feel the strength, driving long out of these lines, core twisting, spine long. Inhale, lengthen the hands. Exhale, spin the back heel, sealing for Warrior One. Keep the Apana Mudra, and as you exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Again, that left hip pulls back, right hip sends forward. Use the stability of that back leg like a kickstand to open the heart nice and long and strong out in front of you, leading the way. Inhale, lengthen out in that front leg. Spin the toes to face the right edge of your mat and turn the heels in so the toes are slightly out on an angle. This angle is unique to you. Send the tailbone down as you exhale and find your wide squat. The spine is long. So you'll notice that I'm sitting back a little bit here. I could use to squeeze my glutes. It would help me widen my knees, and it would help me find a more stable, lengthened, stacked position in my spine. I draw my hip tips towards my face. I interlace my hands, sending the heart back. Lengthen in the spine for this curve. Let the hands drip down and release to your wide leg forward fold, heels to parallel, bowing in. Knowing all the work is done, you can grab the outside ankles if it feels good, or peace fingers around big toes. As you exhale, send the hips up towards the sky, lengthening. Maybe shake the head no. Nod the head yes. Releasing all of that tension. When you've had enough, you can soften in the knees. And you'll walk your hands back around to the front of your mat through the lunge. Send the left foot back to meet the right. Chaturanga through, elbows in towards the torso. Upward dog. Send the hips up and back to downward dog. From here, you can soften in the knees, taking them wide. The toes will come to touch, and we'll release the hips down into a child's pose. Take a moment to let the energy settle. Feel everything that's moving around you and what's still moving for you. Allow the hips to release towards the heels and soften. We'll come into a pigeon pose as we cool down. I'll offer a modification if pigeon pose isn't really for you. As you inhale, you'll lift the hips and you'll make your way back into a down dog, tucking the toes under and lengthening long towards the earth. Pressing the torso away so the hips drive towards the sky. You'll inhale and float the right heel up for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it forward, knee to nose like you did before, and turn out in the hip as much as you can. Using your turn out, that's the angle that you'll use, lowering the shin down gently. Keep the back toe tucked. Draw the inner thighs together so that right hip is still pulling back. If you can do a lunge, you can take this without the hands on the earth. Keep it engaged, nice and strong. Open the heart, same idea we found. Maybe bring the hands back behind the hips a little. Drive the heart forward, lengthening in the spine with an inhale. As you exhale, lengthen long out of the top of the head and send yourself up and over, bowing easily. You can untuck the toe and relax in. Breathing all the way into that hip, release over. Now if pigeon isn't for you, you'll come onto the back and we'll take figure 4. So rolling onto the back, knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. You'll inhale, reach the right heel up towards the sky and turn out in the hip. Bring the right ankle across the thigh and ease your knee open. The right hand will come between the hole you've made between the legs and interlace the hands behind the hamstring of the left leg, or maybe even on top of the shin. As I draw this whole piece closer to my heart, I use my right elbow as leverage to open the right hip. I have the option to breathe here and lengthen in my spine, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Offering the ease of breath into the hip. Allow yourself to relax in the soles of the feet, between the toes and behind the ears. Allow yourself to soften. Allow the things that come in for you to be met with that non-judgmental mind. As you inhale, bring the torso back upright, hands walk in. You'll tuck the back toes under and lengthen out behind the back knee. Press strong through the hands and come through a plank, sending the right leg back. You'll exhale, send the hips back to down dog. Right away for the left side. You'll inhale, float the left heel up for your three-legged dog. Keep the hips square towards the earth. Exhale, knee to nose. Turn out in the hip and lower the shin down, keeping the back toe tucked. Connect the inner thighs together and lift out of the heart. Keep the left hip back and right hip sending forward. Hands can come back behind the hips. Roll the heart open, lengthening out of the spine nice and long. Feel how that back foot drives the heart forward. Feeling that lift available to you. When you've had enough, ease the hip down, untuck the toes, and bow in. Soften in the neck and shoulders and jaw. If you've been in figure 4, you'll release the bind and lower the foot. Inhale, send the right leg up overhead and bend in the knee, bring the foot flat. Inhale, lengthen out of the left leg and turn out in the hip, bringing the left ankle across the right quad. Reach the hand between the hole you've made, interlace the hands behind hamstring or shin, and ease the hip open with the left elbow. Softening here in the back of the heart space. The hips are where we store a lot of our emotions. Releasing here allows us to unclog a lot of the channels that we feel our way through. Inhale, bring the torso upright, walk the hands in. And lean over onto the left hip and bring the leg around for a twist. You'll plant the foot and hug the thigh and knee close towards the torso as you inhale. Reach the spine long. You want to make sure both sits bones are flat to the earth. As you inhale, lengthen in the spine. As you exhale, twist towards the right side, easing the thigh closer towards the heart. As you lengthen in the spine with the inhale, you exhale, draw the belly button in and deepen a little. You have the option to bring the elbow to the outside of the knee and activate Apana Mudra with the left hand, turning over with the gaze towards the right shoulder. Breathing into this twist, allowing the breath to be shortened by this smaller space. As you exhale, you release out of your twist gently. Keep the legs where they are and find the open twist, turning over towards the left shoulder, feeling regal and lifted. As you exhale, gently release your way back towards center. You'll rock back onto your hips and switch the feet. Hugging the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, lift nice and tall. Again, if that hip is picked up, you ease it down, hugging the knee a little bit less. As you inhale, lift tall in the spine. As you exhale, look over your left shoulder, drawing the core in and twisting. Soften in the ears, unclench the jaw, relax across the face. You have the option to bring the elbow to the outside of the knee, activating Apana Mudra, thumb, ring finger, middle finger, allowing a release, encouraging the maintaining of any lessons that are still to be learned. As you exhale, you release out of your twist and turn towards the right shoulder, finding the open twist, staying lifted in the spine, nice and tall. As you exhale to exit this twist, you'll lower onto your back, bending in the knees, bringing the feet flat to the floor, and we'll set up for a little bridge. So as you lower down, you want to bring the heels all the way as close to the glutes as you possibly can. You'll roll the shoulder blades so they're flat on the earth. It may make you feel like your heart is very open. That's good. Press in the hands, inhale and lengthen in the spine. As you exhale, draw the belly button in and drive the feet into the earth to lift the hips up towards the sky. As you press the hips up, you can even drive the feet a little forward and send the hips up towards the face, releasing long in the neck. Avoid letting the knees flare open. Keep the inner thighs engaged, reaching out of the tops of the thighs. You have the option to interlace the hands behind the back, reaching the knuckles back behind you. You might even walk the shoulder blades a little closer together. Again, releasing long out of the cervical spine, driving the hips up and forward. As you exhale, you release the bind and gently lower the spine down piece by piece. When you reach the earth with the tailbone, you'll separate the feet outside of hip width apart, flex the feet up towards the face, and windshield wiper the knees side to side, releasing in the hips and the waist. Nice and gentle and easy does it. And we'll set up for that one more time, bringing the feet back into hip width apart, heels close to the glutes, shoulder blades flat. Inhale, lengthen in the spine. Exhale, belly button draws in. Send the hips up towards the sky and up towards the face, feeling full and long out of the front of the body. Again, reaching the tops of the thighs towards the front of the mat. Interlace the hands if you like. Feeling this full release. When you've had enough, you can release in the bind and gently lower the hips back down, piece by piece in the spine. Full breath in when you reach the floor. Again, bringing in that windshield wiper, walking the feet back out to hip width apart. Just allowing a light release. We'll hug the knees into the chest nice and tight, crossing the ankles if you'd like. It lets the hip flexors hug up into the body. Giving little side-to-side rocking motions, maybe drawing circles with the knees to release the low back against the earth, letting things soothe. Noticing where you might still be holding tension in the face and jaw and mouth, teeth, gums, tongue. As we make our way towards the end of our practice, noticing if there's any additional poses our body might want, take those. Any final stretches, maybe you'd like a final twist. If you want to join me, I'll take Happy Baby, grabbing the outside edges of my feet, releasing the knees nice and wide. If I press my feet into my hands and I return that pressure by opening my heart and drawing the shoulder blades down towards the earth with the arms, I can feel an opening that helps me lengthen in my spine. I can draw the belly button towards my spine and really feel my low back flat against the earth, feeling how my hips and my shoulders have lots of space between them. I have the option to grab the toes with peace fingers, pressing with the big toe into that bind, getting a little bit more length and depth. When you've had enough, you can release the bind. Shake out anything in the feet or ankles, maybe crossing. Make your way into Shavasana, laying long along your mat. Allow the hips to fall open, releasing any tension in the legs. Breathing into the center of the chest, feel your lungs fill like a balloon in all directions. Ease of breath releasing out of you. Releasing any tension you may have. We'll spend some time in here in Shavasana. Gently deepening your next inhale. Let the breath fill your low belly. Inviting small movements in the fingers and toes. Begin to roll in the wrists and ankles, waking the body back up. And eventually allow all of that to grow as you stretch nice and long, flexing in the feet, reaching arms overhead. Good old-fashioned human stretch. And relaxing all of that out. Finding your way to a fetal position on either side. Curling up in a little ball, you can cradle your head with your lower arm. From this closed-in space, just notice the difference in how you feel after your practice. And when you're ready, you can gently press yourself up to find a seated position. Allowing yourself to return to full awareness. From that seated position, you inhale, lift nice and tall in the spine, and allow yourself to soften and focus. Bring the hands to heart center, and allow yourself to be at peace.
All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me and letting me be a part of your practice. I really hope you enjoyed the flow, and if you did, feel free to like the video and subscribe. You have a new Astro flow coming your way on November 7th for the new moon in Scorpio. It's only gonna get better from here, y'all. So, might as well get on the bandwagon now. If you want to learn more about the mala beads featured in this video and learn about how you can get your own set of mala beads, visit my website at mindful-michael.com. Be sure to check out the custom malas page. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram at mindfulmichael, all one word. There's a lot of fun things happening there. Until then, namaste, friends. See you next time.